Previously on the Unemployed Diaries.
I was laid off from my job and I don't have a clue what I'm going to do next. Moving into digital marketing or social media management, it is still weird being in a different routine. I was having a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of self-doubt, try to start my own business, which is something I've always wanted to do. I just keep reminding myself, the universe gave you this chance. Everything is happening for a reason. I'm exactly where I am meant to be. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel. In today's Unemployed Diaries video, I'm going to take you with me as I do some job searching and apply to jobs. So I'm going to show you the sites I use, what types of jobs I'm searching for, the red flags I look for in job descriptions,
From your calendar, vitamins starts in 10 minutes.
how I'm keeping track of all the jobs.
From your calendar.
Alexa, rude. How I've been tracking all the jobs that I've been applying for, and I also think that I'm going to make a Notion template today to keep the tracking and documentation even easier. So I'm just going to jump right in and start looking for jobs. So I'm going to record my screen and then just show you what I'm doing. So the three sites that I use to job search are LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and Indeed. I did make a profile on ZipRecruiter, but I don't like it too much because you can't filter for a lot of things, so I typically don't use it. Most of the jobs that I applied for I found on LinkedIn and Glassdoor. I haven't seen a lot on Indeed, but I still use it just to look and see if there's anything out there. So I'm going to start with LinkedIn, and I do have job search alerts set up so that way I can be alerted to a job that meets my specifications. So, for example, I have communications opportunities in Pittsburgh, marketing opportunities in Pittsburgh, and then marketing and communication opportunities in the United States set up. I also have alerts set up for analyst positions and operations analysts. So I'm just going to look through these notifications that LinkedIn sent me to see if there's anything here that I could apply to. Okay, so this is the first job that I've seen that might be an okay match. So I'm going to save this and then I'll come back to it later after I go through a couple other jobs. So I just reviewed all the notifications of jobs that LinkedIn sent me. I didn't really see too much in there. So now I'm going to go to the jobs tab. This is where LinkedIn recommends jobs to you, and to be honest, I don't think they really do a great job. So for example, they recommended a job for me that's in Massachusetts and I live in Pennsylvania, so that's obviously not going to work. It's a hybrid job, so I'm just going to X out of that so they won't show it to me again, and I'm going to see what else they may have recommended to me. So here's a marketing assistant job. I think this one's a little too advanced level, it doesn't seem like it's a great entry level, so I'm just gonna click out of that one. This one's based out of California, and since I'm in the East Coast, I think the times would be too off, so I'm probably gonna click out of that one as well. So it looks like the jobs that LinkedIn is recommending me aren't really working out, so I'm just gonna do a search. So one thing that I've been searching quite frequently is communications, and then I do the United States. I like to use all the LinkedIn filtering options. That's the one big pro I have with using LinkedIn, is that they let you filter your search options. So for example, I'm gonna just click on remote, and I typically always look for jobs that are posted in the last 24 hours so I can get my application in right away. I love that I can select the experience level. So since I am looking for something that's entry level, I'm going to select that. And it looks like in the last 24 hours, there have been 52 positions that have been uploaded. So I'm just going to show the results for that. So no luck with the past 24 hours. So I'm just going to change this to the past week and see if there's anything else that might be a good fit. I found one that might be a good fit for me, so I'm gonna save it. It was posted 4 days ago and it says it has over 100 applicants already. I'm not sure how accurate this applicant feature that LinkedIn has, but I still apply anyway in case it's wrong. But if it's been posted for over 4 days and it has 100 applicants and I apply, I don't think I probably will hear a response back, but it never hurts to try. So another thing that I search for is the Pittsburgh area since I live near Pittsburgh. So I'm going to see if there's any remote options near Pittsburgh. And I'm also going to change this to hybrid as well. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. The other thing that I have been searching for is marketing. And we're just going to put in United States again, keep it on entry level and remote. And I'm going to change this to the past 24 hours. There's only 11 results. It is Monday, so there's probably not a lot of new positions open yet. Yeah, there's nothing there. I'm also gonna try operations analyst, which is what the last job I had was. I was an analyst. So sometimes I do like to look and see if there's anything there that would match. No matching jobs found. Let's try the past week. We can remove entry level because I was doing that job. I don't need an entry level position for that. So let's see. I'm actually finding a couple jobs that might be of interest to me in here. I don't necessarily want to go back to being an analyst. It really depends on the industry and the company. So I still like to give things a look to see if there's anything that might be of interest to me. I'm also going to search for analyst to see if there's anything there. And let's try the past 24 hours. 189 positions. So let's look at these. Okay, so I found a few things on LinkedIn, but before I apply to those, I'm going to check out the other job search sites as well. So I'm going to go to Glassdoor next. So I have alerts set up on Glassdoor as well for communications and marketing. So if I go to the jobs tab, it's going to give me a bunch of recommended jobs. So I'm going to look at some from the past 1 to 3 to 4 days. So this is a great example of a job description that I find to have red flags. First off, there's a very short paragraph of what the role is. And then there's also a very short list of qualifications that are very generalized. I just feel like there's not enough information in this job description to really get a great idea of what this company is about and what they're looking for. And the qualifications listed are pretty easy to achieve. They seem pretty generic. It almost seems like it's too good to be true. So this is one of the jobs that just comes out to me as a red flag. So if I see something like this on LinkedIn, then I typically just exit out so it doesn't come up again. Another thing that's a red flag to me when I'm applying for jobs is companies that constantly have positions open. So this company here, I believe it's pronounced Talentify. They've had multiple positions open constantly since I started looking for jobs for the last 2 months. So to me, it just seems kind of weird that they would always have positions open, and I don't really know why they would always have positions open. Maybe they have a high turnover rate, or maybe they just can't get enough people to apply for the jobs, but because of that, I just wouldn't apply to it. It just seems off that they constantly have positions open over and over and over again. Another red flag for me. This job says it's a fully remote work environment with flexible scheduling options, but it says 50% plus of travel required. And then it says ability to work nights, weekends, and holidays as required to generate and gather content within the event and hospitality space. If it's a fully remote job, then why would I have to travel? I don't understand that. So this is something that I wouldn't be applying for. Additionally, any jobs that say that you may have to work nights, weekends, or holidays are just an absolute no for me. I personally do not want to work nights, and I don't want to work weekends, and I don't want to work holidays. That's just a personal choice. I love my free time, and I'm not willing to give that up for a job. So this is something that I wouldn't apply for either. Okay, so there's a couple other red flags that I typically look out for when applying to jobs. I didn't see them in anything that I looked at today. Referring to the team or your coworkers as a family, that's a red flag to me. I just think that the idea of calling your teammates or your coworkers a family is a bit toxic, and I've been in positions and roles where people referred to their team as a family and it was a toxic work environment, so that's something that I typically try to avoid. Another thing that I avoid is job descriptions where the list of your responsibilities is really, really long and you might have 20 plus responsibilities. I think that's especially concerning when the pay is under $50,000 a year. I don't think that you should be doing 20 to 30 or more different things within one role and being paid only $40,000 for it. That just seems insane to me. So that's not something that I want to apply for. Another thing that I typically don't apply for is if they're asking for 3 to 5 years of experience and then they're only paying $30,000 to $40,000. If you're bringing in 3 to 5 years of experience, you should be at least making 50. At least that's my opinion. So that's something that I wouldn't apply to either. Anything that has keywords such as fast paced, high stakes, high stress, things like that, I don't want to apply to. I typically try to avoid those things because I don't want to work in a high stakes, high stress environment. I don't like it. To me, that's toxic. I just want to go in and do my job and get it completed on time and that be that. I also avoid job descriptions that have no salary because unless I know what you're going to pay me, I'm not interested, because at the end of the day, I have to be paid a certain number in order for me to survive and live my life. So if you're not going to give that to me up front, then there's no point of me applying to that job. I also avoid job descriptions that use terms like rock star. I haven't seen many of these, but I hate that. I think that's really cringy, so I don't apply to jobs that say that, although I rarely see anyone using that term rock star, so that's something that I avoid as well. So a couple other buzzwords that I try to avoid are self-starter. To me, that means you're going to start a job and you're not getting trained on how to do the job, so you have to figure it out yourself. The job description says multitasking because our brains literally cannot multitask. We are not built to do that. So that's something that's just completely impossible to do as a human being. So I try to avoid job descriptions that require multitasking if possible. Another red flag can be excessive grammar or spelling errors. I get that it happens, but if there's quite a few in there, then it just seems like a scam to me, so I'm going to avoid it. And the last one is just a vague description of the responsibilities of the job and what you will be doing in the job. If they can't tell me what the job entitles, then why would I even apply to it? Now, this isn't something that I would consider a red flag, but this is something that does stop me from applying to jobs. But any job that requires homework in order to submit the application. So for example, I was looking at a job, I thought it sounded really interesting, but they wanted me to write some sort of 300-word essay or paper. I don't remember what they wanted you to write about, but it was beyond a cover letter and a resume. And to me, that was just a no. I don't want to spend a couple hours of my time doing work for free just to apply to a job. I don't think that's fair at all. So I'm just not going to apply to something like that. If I was in the process of interviewing with a company and they asked me to do some sort of presentation or something, I might consider it if I was very interested in the job and I knew it only would take me a couple hours. But I'm just not going to do free work just to apply. So now that I spent about an hour or so just doing a job search, I'm going to start applying to jobs. I have been using the same resume for every job that I applied to, but I heard a lot of people talking about tailoring each resume to that specific job description, and there's an easy way to do this with ChatGPT. So I'm going to experiment and give that a try today. I'm just going to refresh myself on the query you need to put into ChatGPT to do that. So I'm going to look that up really quick and then start applying.
I do not recommend doing the bare minimum and just copy pasting the job description and asking ChatGPT to tailor your resume for that role.
So I'm going to try this ChatGPT resume hack from YouTuber Jeff Sue. So he encourages you to put in 3 different prompts into ChatGPT to help with your resume. The first one is, you are an expert writer with over 20 years experience working with job seekers trying to land a role in blank, whatever that role is. So for me, it's going to be digital marketing. Highlight the 3 most important responsibilities in this job description, and then you paste the job description. So I'm going to go back to LinkedIn and pull up one of the jobs that I saved from earlier. Okay, so I put that prompt in and it's giving me the data back. So the next prompt he suggests putting into ChatGPT is, great, based on 3 most important responsibilities from the job description, please tailor my resume for this insert position at insert company. Do not make information up. Here's my resume. So I'm going to plug that into ChatGPT. The third prompt is, list out the differences between my original resume and your suggested draft in table format with 2 columns, original and updated. Be specific and list out exactly what was changed down to the exact wording. So I'm plugging that into ChatGPT. So now ChatGPT is giving me that data in a table format. It's probably going to take a while for that data to come back to me. So now I'm just going to review these differences and tailor my resume to the suggestions that ChatGPT made, if it makes sense. Okay, so I tailored my resume based on ChatGPT's suggestions. I did not change everything or use all of the suggestions that they made in the query just because I didn't think that they were really necessary. So we'll see if this makes a difference at all. So I am going to go ahead and apply to the job. One thing that I strongly recommend is applying directly on the company website. The reason that I do that is because I want to make sure that it is being seen by them and their team. So I'm just going to go onto this website, find the job, and apply directly from there. And then I'll just mark in LinkedIn that I did apply for it. So I just created a table in Notion to help me keep track of the jobs that I'm applying to. So I have a couple different columns. Column A is the company name, job title, the date applied, the response I got. So no response, automated rejection, interview, and then if I customize my resume to that job title or not. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add more data into this. I might add keywords or qualifications, but I always save a copy of the job description, which has all that information. I just copy and paste the job descriptions and the qualifications directly from the company's website into a Word doc, so I always have the entire thing saved. I just watched this video from Advice with Aaron about writing a cover letter in seconds with ChatGPT, so I'm gonna give it a try and apply to a job with a cover letter. This job does not require a cover letter. I just want to check out ChatGPT and see how well it does at writing, something like that. So let's pull up ChatGPT. So I'm gonna pull up ChatGPT and say, hi, can you help me write a cover letter? Question mark. Here is the job description, and then I'm gonna go and copy and paste the job description into ChatGPT. So now that I have the job description in there, I'm going to paste in my resume. And then I'm going to hit enter and see what ChatGPT comes up with. So I don't like the letter that ChatGPT came up with. I'm going to try to re-enter it. Maybe it had some sort of error when I was putting everything in. I'm just going to copy and paste everything into a new chat and see if it comes up with a better result the second time. And I'm also going to add, hi, can you help me write a cover letter? I am applying to a content marketing assistant position at insert company name here. All right, so I cleaned that up a little bit. I'm going to see what it gives me this time. Okay, so this time it definitely came up with a better letter that was more honed towards what what was in the job description. So I'm going to copy and paste the letter it came up with into a Word doc and then just go through and make any changes that I need to make and maybe play around with the words and sentences a little bit just to make it my own. Okay, so I just applied to that job using the cover letter that I had ChatGPT create for me. It took me probably 20 to 30 minutes to take the cover letter that ChatGPT generated and rework it a little bit just to fit my personal voice and tone. But overall, I would say that was super easy and convenient compared to writing a cover letter from scratch. So from now on, if I do have to submit a cover letter to a job or I want to submit a cover letter to a job, I'm definitely going to use ChatGPT to do that. So I'm going to call it a wrap for applying to jobs today. I did apply to 3 jobs and I saved a couple other ones that I might apply to later. It is now 3:43, so I have about an hour and 15 minutes left in the workday. So I'm just going to do some housework and call it a day.
Trying to have a little peaceful morning. We were in Amsterdam, as you guys know, like that was the last vlog. My parents and sister stayed with us for a couple of days, which was so